we're not looking straight up your nose into your brain.
No, we're good, man.
Okay, cool. I'm going to press record, too.
Cool.
So, just so I know, did you grow up like and just remember to kind of like reiterate the question, like,
yeah.
Just because we're going to cut my voice out. But tell me about your, being a Packer fan and how long that goes back.
Yeah.
And, was it the Brett Favre era? And then, holy shit, Brett might be done. And here's this kid, Aaron Rodgers, who, hasn't really had a chance to prove himself. So kind of just give me a little bit of the backstory.
Yeah, man. So I'm 30. I'm getting old. I remember when I was a kid in the early 90s watching the Packers. That's when Don Majkowski was the quarterback. That is super long time ago. So growing up in Wisconsin, I grew up about 20 minutes south of Green Bay. Family had season tickets, so I had access to that. My dad was probably the biggest Packer fan I've ever met. So yeah, grew up with that. Don Majkowski was my favorite when I was a little kid. He got hurt. Then it was like oh shit, he's out. Now Brett Favre's coming in. Here's this guy that nobody wanted. And then he brought the Packers back, man. Like we were nobodies. And now we're like the best franchise in the NFL. So then from Favre, went through the Favre years where he was so incredible, obviously. And then Aaron Rodgers got drafted when Favre was still in his prime. When all of my friends around the area here were like, oh, shit, why would we waste that? Like, we need a wide receiver for Favre. And I was like, he's not going to play forever, guys. He's getting older. Be confident that Aaron Rodgers is the savior, I guess, once Brett is gone. And I was preaching that to everybody. No one would listen to me, but I kept preaching it. And then,
did you actually believe it? I mean, or were you just wishing it?
You know what? That's a good question. I will never forget the day I bought an Aaron Rodgers jersey from Champ Sports. It was his rookie season, and I went back to college with it, and I wore it for every game. And I wrote in the blog or whatever. I went to a road game in Detroit, and someone cornered me there, and the guy's like, "Hey man, is your last name Rodgers?" And I was like, "No, my last name is Golden." He's like, "Well, why in the hell would you have a Rodgers jersey then?" And I was like, "What? Like, it didn't make sense to me." And now if you go to Lambeau, shit, like 40,000 people have jerseys on. But anyway, so I was a fan of the Packers, will be, long after Aaron is gone. But it's the perfect storm right now of, hey, my favorite pro franchise and my favorite pro player together as one and like kicking ass.
Take me through his career a little bit. Just kind of educate me everything Aaron Rodgers. And I mean, that could be as far back as, being a little kid in Chico.
Yep.
To, even if you just want to start like at Pleasant Valley High or Butte Community College or Cal, whatever.
Yeah, so Pleasant Valley High, Pleasant Valley High, obviously where he went to high school. A small town in Chico. Didn't get recruited by anybody because it was a small town. He was a little late developing size-wise. Went to Butte Community College, kicked ass there at the JUCO. And then went to Cal to play for Jeff Tedford, who was like a quarterback guru at the time. But none of his guys ever had any success in the NFL, except for Aaron Rodgers, of course. So went to Cal and was kick-ass there. No one knew who he was, really. I think it was like his first or second start. He beat USC, who was like number 3 in the nation at the time. Then got drafted, but obviously without turmoil, the guy slipped like 24 spots in the draft. To top it off, his favorite team, the 49ers, passed on him with the number 1 pick. But yeah, dropped 24 spots down to Green Bay, who didn't need a quarterback at the time. So he sat behind Favre for a couple years. Started his first year, they went 6-10. And I believe the number may escape me, but they had like 6 or 7 losses by 3 points or less. And in those losses, like the defense gave up a touchdown or a field goal at the end of the game, or kickers missed extra points. Like they could have been like 13-3. But everyone around here was like, oh, shit, he's no Favre. They're never going to be any good. They made the wrong decision. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Give it some time. Yeah, lo and behold, obviously 2010, they win a Super Bowl. Has the most unbelievable playoff run of all time. That game against Atlanta, it was just incredible. Like, there were guys running at him, and like he was like spinning, and he knew they were there. So they won the Super Bowl that year. He was MVP of the Super Bowl. Next year, they went 15-1. He ended up being the MVP of the NFL. They lost to the Giants in the playoffs that year. A couple seasons later, 2014 was the MVP. Has had some pretty heartbreaking and gut-wrenching playoff losses. As a fan of the Packers and of Aaron Rodgers, it's been brutal. It's been brutal lately. But he's due. We're due. I think this is going to be our year. I say that every year, but I think this is going to be our year.
Tell me everything you love about Aaron, like, besides the stats. Tell me about, like, him off the field, his personality, the whole relaxed thing. You know, it's just like, and I know you know all about that, but, like, kind of just explain to me his swagger and, you know, how he's just cool, calm, collective, and I basically talking about what you said in your application, you know, just kind of bringing that to life.
You hit it right on the head. Aaron Rodgers, when I think of Aaron Rodgers, I think of swag. Like, the guy knows he's good. He's confident enough to know he's good, but he's not arrogant enough to be cocky. He has a calm, cool, relaxed, like, hey, I'm the shit and I know I'm the shit, and that's all it is. Like, he has the brains, he has the intelligence to play the quarterback position, compiled with an outrageous amount of athletic ability, and like the competency to be able to read and identify defenses that makes him unstoppable. He doesn't get rattled under pressure. Even this year, you know, this year, as challenging as it was at times, like that Detroit Lions game, I'll never forget watching that Lions game on Thursday night. I took my son to the Polar Express, so I got home at halftime, and I was like, oh, this is shitty. This is awful. We're losing. The whole family went to bed. I had 2 boys and my wife were all sleeping. It's about 11 o'clock our time, and then sure shit, he throws up a 60, 70-yard Hail Mary, almost hits the rafters of the ceiling. Like, no one else on this planet can make that throw. And to top it off, like, you almost expected that he was going to because he's that good. So personality-wise, like, he's just relaxed. Like, you hit on it a little bit when he said the RELAX last 2 years ago when they started out slow. It's just like, relax. You know, that's just the kind of the way he is. I remember they beat the Texans in a Sunday night football game, and there was a lot of, like, criticism of him, and Michelle Tafoya's like, do you have anything to say to the fans? And he was just like, shh. Like, that's just how he is. Like, he's not arrogant, but he's so confident and cocky in a good way.
Right? So you're married with 2 boys?
Yep, married with 2 boys.
You guys, is your wife from Wisconsin?
Yep, wife is from Wisconsin, born and raised in the same city. We met at college.
Oh, nice. Is she a Packer fan?
She was a fan, but now she's a diehard, obviously. So we're the Packer family here. So she'd never gone to a game before she married me. I have season tickets, so now we get to go to 8 games a year.
Oh man, it's amazing. Cause nothing like that experience.
It's the greatest, man. It's the best, the greatest place on earth.
Yeah, I've been there 4 or 5 times. Had an ex-girlfriend and a boss who actually were season ticket holders.
Okay.
We're strange being a California kid, but yeah, just luck for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Lucky guy. Let's just talk about why you're such a great fan of Aaron Rodgers. You know, and Sean, this is definitely when I want you to brag and boast. You know, and I want you to be excited because you know this could really happen. You know, actually, you know what? Let's do this first. You get on the show, you're gonna meet Aaron, and I don't know if you've had a chance to spend any time with him yet.
Right. No.
But you're gonna get that time. So I want to know what the perfect Sunday afternoon, not during football season.
Sure.
You're hanging out with Aaron. What are you guys doing? You know, you guys playing some golf, drinking some beers. What are you asking him? What are you telling him?
I think you're exact. I think you hit it on the head. It would probably be 18, a round of 18, drinking beers with him, just getting to know him, picking his brain because we get to know only so much. He's a pretty reserved guy, which is good. I would probably be the same way. I would want to know, you know, like, hey, what do you do off the field? You know, do you enjoy the game of football as much as it makes it seem on the field? I couldn't imagine being able to have that time to spend with him. I would be curious to know, you know, what his greatest moment is as a Packer. I'd like to know more about what he does outside of the field because no one does. He stays pretty relaxed. I would ask about Olivia because I'd be foolish not to because she's gorgeous and they make it's without sounding weird, they're a good-looking couple.
Absolutely, man.
I'd ask about his family too. I'd ask about his parents and his 2 brothers because I follow his brothers on Twitter and they seem cool as shit too. Like they just seem like a cool group of guys. So no, I would probably do, you know, a round of 18 with him. I'd get him buzzed up enough to talk a little bit to me without being weirded out that I was asking him questions. And then that'd probably be about it, man.
Why are you such a great fan? And this is the time to brag and boast.
Yeah. I truly believe that I'm his largest fan, his greatest fan. I stuck with him so long ago. Like we had talked about, I've gone to games where people didn't know who Aaron Rodgers was. I've gone to games where I wrote in my blog, it was a playoff game. He got some mop-up duty. And I had like this poofy vest on, like a vest on. I had my Rodgers jersey underneath it. And he came in, and I was like, fuck yeah. And I ripped it off. And the woman behind me is like, who's number 12? And I was like, and I turned around and I was like, you must be kidding me. You know, and it's like now, like, I would love to talk to that lady, like, hey, do you know who he is now? But it's like, it's weird to say this, but like I've been by his side the whole time. Probably even now, as good as he is, I may apologize probably too much for him, but I'm not ashamed of that. The way that he handled Brett Favre leaving, it was a super awkward time here in Northeast Wisconsin at that time. You were either on one team or the other, and at that time I felt like I was the only one on the team. And then to see all the success that he had, to see the relaxed stuff and how he handles himself on and off the field, he is truly the best. I was the first one in the state of Wisconsin, I truly believe this, that had an Aaron Rodgers jersey besides his family. I was the only one that was really excited when he'd get mop-up duty, even though they were up or down 40 points. Those are all things that I believe that makes me his biggest fan. I can recite stats for days, but a lot of people can't around here now because everyone likes him. But 7 years ago, that wasn't the case around here, and that to me makes me his biggest fan, in my opinion.
Let's do that a little bit. Let's just fire off some stats.
Yeah.
You know? And you can just be all over the place. Just they're good for our cuts. Like when it's kind of like, did you know this? Did
Sure.
you know that? Kind of.
We'll see here. 23 completed passes in a row at Cal against USC, which is incredible because USC was awesome. 45 interceptions, 45 touchdowns, 6 interceptions in one season. He has the highest touchdown to lowest interception ratio in the history of the NFL. Was the quickest quarterback to 100 wins in the NFL. I'm trying to think what else. You know, most rushing yards for a quarterback in Packers history. 157 attempts without an interception to start his NFL career, which is like mind-blowing considering we had Brett Favre as our quarterback beforehand. The weirdest one is he's 0-5 in overtime games. He's never won an overtime game in the NFL. Yeah, it's outrageous, and like and 2 of them are in the playoffs. So a little bad luck in my opinion, but let's see here. I'm trying to think what else. MVP of the Insight Bowl in 2004, I believe it was. 24th overall draft pick to the greatest franchise in sports, man.
Absolutely. Cool. What else should we talk about? Anything I'd be surprised to know that you know? Like, just like, well, that's random. Why do you know that?
Favorite movie is The Princess Bride, which is a little weird. Let's see, I'm trying to think what else.
I think it's the only dude I've ever met that, like, or know that is Princess Bride is their favorite movie.
Yeah, I would say a close second for him is probably Heavyweights, because he talks about heavyweights a lot on Twitter.
Does he really?
Yeah, he loves heavyweights. I know his favorite basketball franchise are the Sacramento Kings. Yeah, I know, brutal. Favorite NBA player, I think, is Drew Gooden, which is weird, because he loves the mid-range jump shot. Every year to start his career with the Packers, he had pancakes with peanut butter on them for breakfast every single day for 6 years straight.
That's crazy.
Has a dog named Chance that him and Olivia Munn rescued. He's a collie. Has Suspended Sunrise Recordings, which is a record label that he started to help aspiring bands make it big.
What would your wife say if I asked her about, like, what's Sean's deal with Aaron? You know, what do you think your wife would tell me?
It's probably borderline creepy to a point. I think she'd be honest about that. It's a healthy honest, though. Like, she loves him, too, now. Like, she's gotten to the point where, like, I'm addicted with him now. Like, she'll, like, follow Olivia Munn. So, like, we're kind of like the poor man's Aaron and Olivia here in Littletown, Wisconsin. She would say that it's weird. She would probably apologize for me a little bit in that regard, but I got the boys. Boys both have their jerseys. They have fat heads. We're raising them right up here.
I love it. What gets you excited about meeting him, you know. And you know, this is definitely the time to kind of give your plea, like it would just be an honor, and I love the guy or whatever, you know.
Yeah, no, and I love him. I'm not afraid to say that. I love Aaron Rodgers. He's the greatest quarterback in the NFL right now, in my opinion, maybe of all time. The way that he plays the game, he has a lot of career left. To be able to meet him, shake his hand, and literally have a conversation with him, it would mean the world to me. He's a guy that I look up to. He's a guy that a lot of people around this area look up to. A lot of people around this area live and die by how he does. And more times than not, we get to live because of how good he is. And I would like to tell him thank you for that, quite honestly, and let him know how much I like him. From afar, I don't know him from Joe, but how much I care about him. I would give anything for it, man. I really would.
Very cool. Where is Kimberly, Wisconsin?
It's about 20 minutes south of Green Bay.
Oh, so you're close. It's basically a suburb of pretty much to Green Bay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, that would make a nice quick trip to Lambeau, huh?
Yeah.
Just go over there for lunch over at Curly's if you want.
We go. I do it in my job. I get to take a lot of clients out for lunch, and every time I go, they have it's 1919. It's a new restaurant in Lambeau Field, and I go there every single week.
Oh, they have a new restaurant there?
Yeah, it's really nice too.
I haven't been in 2 years.
Yeah, it's nice, man. You should get up here for a game.
I need to, man. I need to. It's been a couple, broke up with the ex 5 years ago, and then my new boss, and then that company last year. So it's been a dry spell, but soon. And I'm excited about the Rams coming here because I think next year we might be due for an away game, which would put them here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus fucking Christ.
That'd be sweet.
In my hometown would be just. I just never thought that would happen again. I didn't think there would ever be an NFL team here. So I'll probably get stabbed by like some of the. Yeah,
you don't have that a whole lot in Green Bay.
Yeah, but it might happen to me here in LA.
For sure.
If I'm wearing a Green Bay jersey.
For sure.
At the fucking Coliseum.
Yeah, no, count me out, man. I've gone to a couple road games, and those people are fucking ruthless, man.
They're scary. They're scary. You know, people don't realize. I've been to a Chargers game, man, and I could not believe how scary the Charger fans were. Oh, and I did San Francisco the last year at Candlestick.
Okay.
And all these small Filipino guys, like fucking covered, like fucking killer bees and shit. I was like, are they gonna try to throw me off the side?
We went. Me and a group of like 10 buddies went to San Diego 4 years ago when Green Bay played out there, and we were like, hey, couple of Midwest guys, like, hey, just want to drink beer and just fuck around, and like same thing. We're like, all right, well, let's get on the train and get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, it can get a little scary, man. All right, I want you to give a plea. Be like, kind of like almost begging, you know, just lots of energy. Be like, you got to pick me so I can make Rodgers proud. Like, kind of just in your own words, like, you are the guy. You know, you are the guy for this. We need to pick you. Please make this happen.
Well, you should pick me. I've been the biggest fan of his since he's come to Green Bay, and even before that. There's been a lot of people around this area that have doubted him. I've never, ever been one of those guys. I would give anything outside of my family to have a chance to meet Aaron Rodgers and talk about all the useless facts that I know about Aaron Rodgers, because that's quite honestly what I've lived my life to do at this point. So I would give anything to be on the show, and I'd give anything to compete against him and meet with him and have a conversation with him. As you can see, he's right here. I'm his greatest fan, and I think that he'd feel very honored to know how much I care about him.
And then go ahead and say your name, your age, where you're from, and that you are Aaron Rodgers' greatest fan.
Sean Golden, I'm 30 years old, from Kimberly, Wisconsin, and I am Aaron Rodgers' greatest fan.
All right, perfect. Press stop on your phone. I'm going to press stop right here.